Oh, hello there, you lovely lot. Welcome back to another fantastic show here on Crafters TV. It is all about the masterclass, and it's all about the foil press for the next couple of hours, which is fantastic. It is back in stock here in the UK and in the US as well. It's proving very busy. We've got a fantastic mystery bag as well for you. Don't forget also about the winter sale that's happening over on the website at the moment. Up to 70% off selected lines and brand new products added every single day. So make sure you go check that out at some point today. I'm not here on my own. We needed her back for a masterclass. It's the head mistress of Crafters TV. Jan Brown's in the building, looking very festive, may I say, Jan.
Thank you. A little bit of sparkle today, a few snowflakes, Ollie. I'm hoping that they're only on my top and not outside until I've got home anyway. So I've just been having a play before the show, and I just wanted to show you this just before we get kicked off. Just little look at this. And this is using a non-foil die. So this is actually an ordinary die that you may or may not have in your stash, but if you don't, we've popped it on the show. And this is the effect that you get when you start foiling your own dies. So yeah, just wanted to show you that, and then popping it into a finished sample, you're going to get this kind of effect there. So yeah, and then I've pulled one out using it just as a die cut, and just look how different. You know, you wouldn't think they were the same piece of equipment, but just by foiling as opposed to actually die cutting it, very, very different effects there, aren't they?
They really are.
Yes, we've got that coming up. I'm going to try and fit in as many techniques as I can for you today. I've got a few samples. So shall we have a look at some of those?
Yes, please.
Just to get us started, just to give you a little bit of inspiration. I know some of you have already got the foil press, so if you have, let us know how you're getting on with it. And I know there's one or two people out there on the market looking for it. And I know from when we were on Wake Up Call this morning, there's one or two of you have taken the plunge with that fantastic saving today. So these are the kinds of things that you might want to have a go with. So we've got some of these dies on the show for you, but I just think that foiled finish takes it up a notch, I think, Joe. You know, you've got your cards that we make, you know, every day, but then the minute you add foil into it, I think it just brings it into a different level of
luxury, isn't it?
It is. And if you were buying cards that were foiled in a shop, you would pay more for them if they'd got that beautiful foiling on. So again, all being done with the foil press there, you know, combining it with papers, combining it with inked backgrounds. We're going to do a bit of all of this. But the minute you see that beautiful foiling on there, it just adds that touch of luxury. How about something like this look? Completely different. So again, foiling onto ribbon. We're going to have a look at different surfaces that we can foil on later on. I've got all sorts planned for you. And then we've got those lovely frames. You've just seen me use one of them. But again, you know, foiled frames this time. So these are the foil stamps as opposed to dies that you've got in your stash. Again, that very sort of Art Deco look there.
Really
absolutely
very
beautiful
striking,
with all the different coloured foils. And again, I never know which one's which, Art Deco, Art Nouveau. We've got a bit of each going on there. But again, look at that foiling on there, just really, really luxurious. It just adds that finishing touch, I think, to your cards. So yeah, lots and lots of techniques for you this afternoon. So as much as we can fit in, I've got a box full all ready for you, and we're just going to work our way through them as the couple of hours passes by.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe we can open it up to the viewers, Jan. If anyone's got anything they've struggled with, or they're not quite sure on how to do.
Yeah.
Jan's here.
That's what we're here for.
So anything you're unsure of, anything you'd like to see, let us know in the comments. Crafters TV over on Facebook, Crafters Companion if you are across on YouTube. A lot of you are tuning in and saying hello already. Maybe today is going to be the day when you're going to get your hands on your foil press. Maybe you're going to treat yourself a little pre-Christmas treat. The great thing is about it, we've got it back in stock in the UK and in the US, which is amazing. But even better than that, we have got a flash sale only for 24 hours. So you will need to be quick for this. It's a 25% discount. It's rare we see a discount like this on the machine on its own. You're going to get everything you need included in here as well. So you've got the base station and the foiling platform, the top plate, the metal shim, the silicone cooling mat. You're also going to get the tweezers, the finger grips, putting a roll of foil in there, 2 stamp and cut dies, 3 foil stamp dies. You get the instruction manual, of course, in there as well, which gives you all of the details that you need. A quarter of the US stock has already sold out and gone. We don't have as many of these as we would like. Specifically, the US stock is looking very, very vulnerable. So if you are in the US and you want to grab a hold of it, I would urge you to be quick. To get that for under £60 or under $84 as a platinum member is an incredible, incredible incredible deal. Now, maybe you've already got your foil press and you want to bargain, then we have got you taken care of, because we have got a fantastic foil press mystery bag for you. I'm going to go through this now. I'll give you an idea of some of the stuff that you could be receiving in your bag. Everyone is going to be getting at least £100 or $120 worth of value. You will be receiving one of our amazing foil stamp and cut dies. Now, these on their own are worth $24.99, this one here in particular. Another one that's worth $24.99 is this one. This is going to be in here for you. It's your Art Deco. That's going to become included in there. You're also going to get one of these gorgeous butterflies as well. Then $14.99 that's worth. Well, you're going to get sentiments in here as well. So in this particular one, I've got a special friend. You've also got foliage in here, some flourishes in here as well, and then 3 rolls of foil. Now, you can never have too much foil. You're going to get 3 awesome rolls of foil in there as well. That's over £100 or $120 worth of value today. Oh, hello. Today, £30 or $40. You can still use your platinum discount on that, of course, so you can with all of your club inspired discounts. Any questions that you've got, get them into me. I love the masterclasses, Jan, because they do seem to give up. No, that's the wrong word. They do seem to offer up a lot of questions. A lot of people, as we go through the different techniques, will have different ideas on how you can use it.
Yep.
Send those questions into me, as I said. Right, Jan, save me.
Saviour. I think he's got his teeth in the wrong way round, haven't you, after lunch? Yeah, what I thought we'd do is for the purpose of any of you new crafters out there, or anybody that's looking into buying the foil press today, I'm going to go right back to basics and talk about what it is as a machine, how it works, and what you get with your foil press, so all the bits that come with it, basically. So we're going to have a look at the machine itself. I've just plugged mine in. It takes about 3 minutes to warm up from being cold. So in order to use it, I've just plugged mine in. But basically, you have got an on and off switch on the side there, a little rocker switch that turns the whole system on. And then it's also got a separate power button on the machine itself. So this turns the power on to it, and then you depress this one here, which turns on all the panel ready to get going. And you can see that I've got 2 red lights. Is it picking that up on the camera there? I've got red, there we go, it's just turned green, yeah? So this one's red to say that we're on, we've got power. This one's just gone green, it was red. And these are temperature sensors in here. So for all paper crafting work, I tend to work on the lower temperature, and I'll explain a little bit more about that when we come to the instruction manual. It has got a medium and a high setting on there for using with more sort of dense fabric. So when you get to things like real leather, heavyweight denim, hessian, anything like that that's a real heavyweight material, then you would go into the multi-purpose foiling and the higher temperatures. But I myself must admit, I tend to use this just for paper crafting work, and the whole of the work that I've done has been on that lower setting. So we've now got the plate here. So we've got a silicone plate that disengages here at the top and re-engages. And this is the bit that we work on. So this is now warm because I've got my green light on. So the temperature guide is there to tell you that it's at the optimum temperature, ready to actually work and do the job that you need it to do. There are 9 sensors under here that are all sort of covered the whole, so you don't get hot spots on it. It's not, oh well, I've got to work up in this top corner because that's where the heat is. It's evenly spread across the whole of that purple silicone plate there. And then on the top of the machine here, you can see that display. So when we turn it on, we've got that lovely timer display, and it's one of the very few machines, foiling machines, that I know of out there that's got the timer on it, which makes life much, much more simple from the point of view of taking the guesswork out of it. So you've got minutes and seconds where you can add timings on, and as I say, I'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to the instruction manual. And you've got a start button and a reset to reset your timers. So essentially what we need to do is heat up any of our metal work, apply the foil and our cardstock or medium that we're going to work with, and then we're going to pass it through our Gemini to apply the pressure. Now the foil press was designed for optimum sort of output to work with our Gemini Junior. And the plates that you get with it are all keyed up to work with the Junior, but don't worry, because if you have got our larger Gemini, the original Gemini, we do an adapter plate, and you only need that one extra plate to allow it to work with your larger Gemini, and I will swap them out later on this show to show you that. If you managed to catch Wake Up Call this morning, we use the large Gemini with the extender plate. Now that's not included in your bundle, it is a separate purchase, but we do have it on the website for you, it is in stock.
10% off all accessories as well over on the website, so anything you want to get stocked up on, today's a great day to do that as well.
So in with your kit then, you're going to get several plates. So this is the top plate that comes with the system that you're buying into. So you've got a plate similar size to the Gemini Junior plate, 6x9, that covers the top of your surface. So whatever goes on inside here, this is your top plate. If you're working with the larger Gemini, you would purchase this one as an, excuse the fact that my name's on the back of there. Now yours comes nice and clean.
At least it's your name, not someone else's.
It is mine. It is mine. Look, it says my name on there. So yeah, if you're using the larger Gemini, you just need this one. Can you see how it extends the width here? So it covers the plate just the same, but this is the important part here, so that it actually engages the sensors in the larger Gemini. And I'll show you a bit more what I mean about that when we use it later in the show. So just that one as an additional purchase if you need it for the large Gemini. But in with your box today with the Foilpress, you will get the original top plate. You will also get a metal plate as well. Now this one's used for when we're using our stamp and cut dies. And in this first demo, I'm going to show you the difference between a stamp and cut die, so that there's a clear difference between them, and I'll explain why we need that one on at the time. We also get some silicone items as well, so we get a nice silicone mat which is there to put your hot metal items on to cool down when you've finished, and in order to do that we've got some nice little magnetic tweezers, which again I'll demo all this as we go on. And then if you do happen to be heat sensitive, this does get it's not hot, but it is warm. So if you do have any heat sensitivity, we give you the gorgeous little finger grippers which allow you to actually disengage the plate and not worry there about touching any of this. I don't seem to have much sense of feeling left here. I think it's all the glue gun burns over the years, so I can actually work with this on its own, but they're there as a sort of security measure if you need them. And then let me have a think. Of course, the instruction book. What have I done with mine? I had it a minute ago. You actually get your instruction book and you get a free roll of the gold foil. Now the foiling is 5 meters long on the roll, so you've got plenty there. And I always say to everybody, with this one being free and with your kit, use it as a practice roll. You can buy all the different colours, and we've got them on the show for you. There's lots of different colours, and again I'll try and work through those as we go through the show. But the free one, use it as a practice roll. Don't think about, I'm wasting my foil. Just use it there to practice with and get a hang of how it works. And then of course you get your user guide here. So there's lots of information in here, and it goes through all the processes that I'm actually going to demo for you today. So how to get started with it, foiling with the stamp, foiling with your own metal dies, the stamp and cut dies. There's further frequently asked questions and hints and tips in there. But the most important and the bit that you will use most in this book is the matrix in the front there. And this gives you instructions. It's a starter guide. It's a point of where to start with regards to timings, different materials that you're going to use, whether you're using that stamp or whether you're using the foil and stamp and cut. And then we've got the multi-surface stuff for the extra sort of dense fabrics there, and it's all split into, it looks very sort of like, oh, there's a lot of information on there, Jan, but when we go through it, it is fairly straightforward. So, seeing as we've got this ready to go, I'm just going to show you very quickly, we've not got finished samples for this, but just to show you the difference. First of all, if you're new to this system, the difference between what we're referring to as a stamp. All right, now it does get a bit confusing because you and I both know we're used to stamps that we ink up and we stamp an image out. The reason we've called these stamps is because they stamp that image into your cardstock. So you're going to get almost the equivalent of a debossed effect on your card, your chosen medium, and then it pushes the foil into that debossed area, which is why we call it a stamp. And those are silver in colour. So anything that comes in the silver colour is going to stamp the impression, and it's going going to seal the foil inside that area. The Stamp and Cut are a much darker grey colour. You can see the difference there. There's a clear difference in them. And they have a cutting edge. So not only do they have all that lovely sort of image in there that's going to press into your card again, but it's actually going to cut out the shape as well, which is where that metal plate...
That's in one pass?
That's all in one pass. So onto the foil press and then pass through your machine, it will cut it. And that's where that metal plate comes in. And I'll explain that in a little while. So we're going to start out with... this is just one that I've grabbed out of my my kit because I wanted to show you the stamped effect. And again, I'm going to go straight back to that matrix, and I still use it even now. And I'm going to stamp this one onto a little piece of vellum. So I've just got some thin vellum there just to start off with, and that is on my matrix there. If I just pop some cardstock under it, we can just see we've got 135 GSM vellum. Now it talks about, first of all, I'm going to address the columns, which is a small die, a medium die and a large die. So if you look at the sort of size of your purple silicon part of the plate there, and if you think about thirds of it, so if your die is going to fit in a third of it, either this way or this way, class it as a small die. 2/3 of it a medium die, the whole plate a large die. It doesn't really come much easier than that. So bearing in mind,
Question coming from Rose. Can we foil more than one die at a time?
Yes.
We can.
Yes, you can put as many as you want
on here. So you could put 2 medium-sized ones on there and class it.
I would class it as a large. Yeah. Think about, rather than the size of the die, think about the area that you're covering on that silicon plate. So if you've got maybe 4 small ones on there covering the whole plate, I would be classing that as large as far as the timing's concerned. But yes, if you're just wanting them to cut out, you can foil more than one item at once. So look at your matrix then. We've established it's a small die, and we're going on to vellum, and it tells me I need that low setting, which I'm already on up at the top here, that low temperature setting, and it tells me that I need 20 seconds on my clock. Now again, there's a little bit of varying sort of in this. My vellum isn't as thick for starters as the one in the book, so I've actually halved the timing almost, so I've gone down to 12 seconds there. So what I'm going to do is literally count up. I'm just adding the plus symbol there to count up to 12 seconds. And what I need to do is transfer the heat now that's in here into my metal work. So again, wherever you want to put it, I tend to work, there is actually measurement starting at 0 and going each way up to just over nearly 4 inches, and then centered here at 0 and going each way. So I tend to work, if it's just one item like this, in the middle. So I've got the 0 line here, and I've got the 0 line here, purely so that you can get things reasonably straight. Other than that, foil on something larger than what you want to work on and trim it down. So what I need to do now is heat this up for the 12 seconds. So I'm going to press my start. Now it's up to you whether you cover. I tend to put the top plate on to keep the heat focused on the metal, but it doesn't. You'll see some of us demo without the top plate, and it's counted all the way down, and it tells me it's finished. So you get that nice beep to tell you that it's done the job. So that's now warm enough for what I want to do. The next element that's going to go on there is my foil. And I've got the lovely gold sort of glimmery one there. And I'm going to put that pretty side down. It always goes with your colour side down. Then I'm going to put my vellum on there. Okay, and just because it's vellum and it's very, very thin, I'm going to add a card shim in there, and it is literally just a piece of card. That's all I'm going to pop in there. And then I'm going to put my top plate, and there's a little ridge here just at the top that this fits up against. And then this is the most important piece of information, I think. It's actually connected here in the centre, and I want you to just slide that out nice and straight. If I tip this now, you can see there are pins in the end of there. You want to protect those and keep those nice and straight. So pop it then through your Gemini. That's going to apply the pressure it needs. The heat's going to encourage that foil to leave the carrier sheet of the foil. And the Geminis were designed to work with this system, so don't worry about it being hot. The Geminis have got the heat sensors in there to detect that, yes, there's something hot and it's okay. And then we're literally going to take this one off. That's just my shim out of the way. And then we've got our piece of, just want to get the edge of that there. There we go. And you can see we use the tweezers, and the tweezers have got a little magnet inside. So while they're open, they're just a pair of tweezers as normal. When you close them, it becomes magnetised, and that's where that lovely little silicone plate comes in handy now, to actually pop this down and let it cool down without it making an imprint on your best dining table or wherever it is you happen to be working. You've got that heat on there. And then remember that obviously we need to remove that foil carrier sheet now. So when we take this off, we've got that beautiful foiled effect now that you can then start and incorporate into your card work or however you want to use this. Beautiful. And I just literally matted this one onto some gold mirror card. You can see the gold coming through there. So it looks as if it's a different colour. But this is literally what I've done here, and then I've just cut it down to fit on the gold piece there. So that is the stamp. And if you feel it, it feels as if it's almost being embossed. You can just feel that slight area where it's actually pushed the foil into. So that's your silver stamps, your foil stamps. We can actually foil the waste, and I'm going to come to that in a separate demo. So don't throw this part away. It's done its job as far as that was concerned, but there's a lot of foil left on there. You can use this to make like a positive and a negative impression. Fabulous. And I'll cover that in a little while on one of the other demos. So I'm just going to engage my plate again, and we're going to have a look at the opposite one now. So we've done the stamp, we're going to have a look at the foil stamp and cut. So this is absolutely gorgeous. It really is, and you can make some really nice embellishments.
In that mystery bag as well.
Is it?
So
oh my goodness! This is one of my favourite pieces. It was one of the first things I bought when I got this foil press, and I still love it to this day. So did you hear the beep? It's saying that it's green. It's gone green. It's back up to its normal temperature, and this time we're going to have a look again in our Papercraft section, foil stamp and cut, which is the middle section. And I'm going to go this time with a medium die. We're looking at, it's covering more than a third of the plate there. So on a medium die, and I'm going to be foiling onto some plain cardstock. So we've got a 300 GSM cardstock, a medium die, at 45 seconds for that one. So again, little bit of playing around with it, and just I know that this one,
Jan, as well, very, very busy on that US machine. Over a quarter of stock now.
I can imagine.
Has gone. If you're watching this show back at a later date, check the website for the stock situation. Although it is a flash sale, so you've only got 24 hours to get your hands on it. I know how hard the team worked to get some of the US stock back in. It's been out for, I think the last couple of times I've actually been here doing the foil press, it's not been available in the US, so it's great that it's back.
Yeah. It is, and it's one of those things that when it does come back in stock, it will disappear again. So yeah, if you're in the market for one of these, not only is it a good offer today, but like Joe says, we know that the stock won't last. So again, I just grabbed this because you want to be you don't want to get things too hot. So again, I'm using that guideline just to sort of roughly centre it. So I've got my 0 here and 0 running through the middle here. And I've put 45 seconds on the clock this time, which is what we decided from our matrix it needed to do this. Now there's just one thing that I need to add to that, which I've forgotten, and I've got bits everywhere. Here we go. Because this is going to cut, I need to pop my metal plate in, and that's why the timing's gone up considerably, because we need to heat the metal plate and the die. And the reason we're doing this is because, first of all, if you're die cutting, you need a solid surface, and the silicon's a little bit spongy, and also to protect that silicone. You don't want to accidentally get this the wrong way around, like we've all done with our Geminis. We've all cut sort of fancy shapes out of our magnetic shims. We've all been there, but this would do some damage to your silicone plate. So just by adding the metal in there, it's going to help reduce that possibility. 45 seconds on the clock, press my start button, and again, optional as to whether you cover it over or not.
Brilliant. Mary Reno says, so can we use regular dies with the foil press too, Jan?
Absolutely, yes, and I'm going to come back to that. I did it very quickly at the beginning of the show, but I'm going to come back and show you exactly how you do it. So this is one that I'd just shown you very briefly at the beginning. Not only have I foiled the die, I've foiled my cutout sentiment as well. So you can see that's got the pink foil over the top of it. So you can die cut shapes and sentiments and pop them in here and add the foil to them as well. So lots of different ways. And I'm going to try and get through as many of them as I can during the show. So this is just counting down. And when it gets to 0, just in case you're busy doing something else, you're getting your foil ready or whatever.
Tammy says she can still hear Leanne saying, I'm
ready. we said we should have recorded Rianne in there. It would have been brilliant, wouldn't it? I'm ready. So again, remove that one just for the time being. The first thing on top of here is always your foil, and it always goes pretty side down. And then I've just got a piece of coloured cardstock this time. I'm going to pop that over the top and just make sure that I've got the whole die covered. And then I'm going to add in, just for protection, this is the metal shim that comes with the Gemini Junior. So this is out of the kit that comes with the Junior. Because this is going to cut through here, I want to preserve my top plate. You can see the odd occasion where I've forgotten and it's left an impression. So just by popping this on, it's going to cut against here rather than my foil press top plate. This one's always the top. And again, nice and straight, remove it from there, and we're going to push this straight through. Well, not push, pop it through our Gemini
I just
Junior.
love the fact that there's no extra accessories or tools that you need or converters. I love that it's been designed with our Geminis in mind, so you know that it just all works so seamlessly.
Optimum
as well.
results.
I know we often get people talking about using these through other brands of die cutting machines, Jan. Not something we recommend, is it?
I wouldn't know. You don't want to mess around with things like warranties. You know, it's designed for a purpose, and it was designed specifically to work with the Gemini. So when you start branching out and using other things, if you do have any problems with it, it will just scratch your warranty if you've been using it with something that wasn't recommended for it. So yeah, wherever possible, the two are made to work together. And like I said, it was made to work with the Junior, but I will show you later on in the show how it's been adapted to go with the large Gemini as well, because I know a lot of you guys have bought that one as well. So again, I'm going to use those tweezers. I'm going to take not just the die, but the actual metal plate as well, and get those cooled down out of the way. We'll pop this to one side, and now we've actually cut. So it's die cut first of all, that lovely butterfly. All right, and then always remember that you've got that carrier sheet to take away. So usually just a little flick on the edge there, and you can bring that beautiful foiling. And again, you've got such a beautiful design there. If I just hold that up for our Charlotte, she can get a little look at it there. But just look how beautiful an embellishment is that. And that's just the gold shimmer foil on the lilac cardstocks. That's just one way of using it. This is one that I've had with me on previous shows that's been done with some Centura Pearl at the bottom. I've done 2 layers. So I've got the disco ball foil onto Centura Pearl at the bottom, and then I've done it again on acetate. But what a fantastic embellishment, whether it be for a card project, for a scrapbook, whether you're going to put it would look beautiful in a piece of home decor, you know, with maybe some little butterflies and a nice sentiment. And then also, as I say, later on in the show, we're going to come back and talk about how to foil these pieces that are technically the waste. So this has done its job now. I've actually foiled my butterfly, and this is what was left over. But there is a design in there that will transfer to another piece of cardstock, and I will talk about that in a little while. Excellent. So that was the difference, the main differences there between the stamps and the foil stamp and cut dies for you.
Fabulous. Let's just share with you as well something. We talk a lot about materials, don't we, Jan? A couple of boards here to highlight all the materials you can use, or some of them anyway. Denim, cotton, faux leather here, glitter material, vellum, craft metal, ribbon, acetate, just some of the things that you can foil onto. You can see all of those different effects there. And then this one here, we've got all of our different cardstock. So black card, Centura craft card, pattern papers, wonderful mirror card, watercolor card, black card there with Spectrum Noir inks as well, and of course our glitter card. So there's a whole host of different things. That's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what you're going to be able to foil onto. Brilliant deal on the machine. Lots of you going for it in this show, which does not surprise me whatsoever. $74.99 or $104.96. There's a 25% discount. We'll only hold that discount for 24 hours though, and you can use your Club Inspired discount there on top of that as well. We also have a great deal for you on foils, which is amazing. We have got, it's rare that we have this many foils in stock at once, let alone give them to you on a fantastic deal as well. Let me go through the different colours you've got then. So this one here is your silver. Then you've also got the rose gold. This one is your silver shimmer. Then you've got the cerise. You can go for the turquoise. You're going to get aurora, holly. Then you've got the berry. This one here is your disco ball, one of my absolute favourites. Oh, hello. Then we've also got here the gold. And then this one is called the Gold Spangle, this one, Johnny, I believe. Really, really beautiful. Shimmer, there we are. So you're going to get all of those.
That's the one I've just used, that, Joe.
All of those are coming in there for you, which is great. You're getting 3 of them for free, essentially, when you get them in that bundle. And that is before you even think about using your Club Inspired discount as well. The mystery bag, very busy. How much? A quarter of the stock of this is gone. Let me take you through what you're going to be getting in here then. So that beautiful massive butterfly die, that's worth £24.99. Another cut and foil die, that one's worth £24.99 as well. This one's absolutely gorgeous, a beautiful frame. You will be getting some sentiments in there. You've also got a flourish, some foliage, and you will get 3 awesome rolls of foil as well. So all of that coming in there. Over £100 or $120 worth of product there for you for £30 or $40. Platinum members, of course, £24 or $32 there is your price. Let's take a moment, give you an opportunity to check out. It is very busy straight off the bat today, as we knew it would be. Let's share with you all of the features of the fantastic foil press.
The Gemini foil press has arrived. Professional and luxurious hot foil letterpress can now be achieved in your own home with our innovative foil press system. This clever machine has been designed with so many fabulous and unique features, and it really does take paper and mixed media crafting to an exciting new level. Delivering professional looking foiling results using a hot press technique that ensures crisp, clean images. Perfect for stationery, invitations, party decorations, home decor, and so much more. The foil press is the only hot foiling system that uses a silicon plate, and we've created a plate that has edge-to-edge heat, so no matter where you place the dies, the heat will be the same. There are no cold spots or hot spots, just one consistent temperature, which again ensures perfectly foiled results every time you use it. Fast heat up reduces wait time, making projects faster to complete. The innovative foil stamp and cut dies allows you to do exactly that, creating professional quality hot stamping, and they work on everything from paper, fabric, cardstock to leather, vinyl, balsa wood and more. Don't waste any of your foil, as you can use the negative foil left over to create another project. With any machine that involves the use of heat, safety features are an absolute priority. The foil press has been fitted with a built-in cool-down feature that kicks in when the machine has been in use for a lengthy amount of time. There is also an automatic shut-off feature that will turn the machine off if the heated platform has been engaged for 25 minutes and not used. Everything needed comes in the box, including a handy manual which gives you all the time and temperature settings for the dies, so you can start foiling straight away. The Gemini Foil Press, made by crafters, for crafters.
Very, very busy on the foil press and also that mystery bag at the moment. Lots of you tuning in saying hello. I can see lovely Lynn is here. Beth, Barbara, Carol, all across the pond. Betsy too. Thea is in the Netherlands as well. Hey, Thea. Any questions that you've got, then get them in to us. Crafters TV on Facebook, Crafters Companion over on YouTube. No, we spoke about it a moment ago, so the top plate extender is available for you. 10% off, as there are on all of the foil press accessories at the moment. So definitely a great time to grab that. $13.49 or $17.95 if you want to get your hands on that one. We're going to go back to Jan. Question from Audrey, talking about the metal plate and using the Gemini Junior metal plate in there. What would you do if you didn't have the Gemini Junior metal plate at that point?
It's basically just something to protect, so possibly another layer of cardstock. Okay. I mean, this is actually designed to last. You shouldn't need to replace these top plates for the foil press, whether it be the original one or the extender plate. But it's just a little bit of preservation so that it doesn't cut into this plate, which is just, you know, prolonging its lifetime. It's not the end of the world if it cuts against it. So if you don't have that metal shim, don't worry, just maybe add another layer of cardstock to absorb some of the pressure and the cut. It's just basically preserving this so that you get as much out of it as possible.
And if you do need to stock up on the top plate, it is available on the show, 10% off, as is everything else. Right, that's it for questions for the moment. Any more, get them into me. What would you like to share with us next, Jan?
Right, what I'm going to do next then, we've got some borders and corners on the show. So I've actually taken the Papillon one, and these are lovely. You've got a nice straight border, and then you've got your corner piece. So I'm just going to use the straight one and just show you how we can incorporate it into a project. So I am going to do a finished card for this one. And when I take these off, I always end up with a bit of sticky tape on them. So again, bringing that foil press back in, I've actually left it engaged so that it's still green, it's good to go. And again, you know, look at this, we're on a third, we're on that small die again. So just double checking on your matrix, and this time I'm going to use some craft card. Now the craft card, as we know, is a little bit more porous than the normal cardstock. The fibres is more of an open fibre in it, so when you're inking and things like that, it will suck up the ink, it'll drink it up a lot quicker than it would do on such as a smooth stamping card. So for that reason, it tends to be a little bit longer for the dies. So again, I'm going to pop down my list. I've not actually got craft card on here, but I'm going to go with the 300 GSM cardstock again. It's a small die. Now it's saying 10 seconds on here, but I know just because I'm working on the crafts card that I need to at least double that. So when I tried this at home, I've actually got as many as 22 seconds in order for this to warm up and allow that foil to leave that carrier sheet. So as I say, there is a little bit of trial and error. If you do your process and it hasn't foiled enough, so if you've got gaps in it, it needs a little bit longer time. If you do the process and you get foil in extra places as opposed to your design, then reduce the timing a little bit. So the first time you do it, you might not quite get the right result. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it works straight from the book, sometimes you might have to just add those few seconds to it. So again, I'm going to work down that centre line. It is just a stamp, so I don't need to put my metal plate in, and I've got my 22 seconds on the clock there. We're going to press the start and we're going to get that heat transferred. So it's the same process every time, regardless of what you're doing. Step 1, heat up the metal. Step 2, add your foil and your cardstock or your chosen medium. Step 3, pass it through your Gemini. So those 3 steps are the same every time. The only thing that changes is the size of the die and the length of time. It's telling me it's ready. You've got that audible beep. So as I say, if you have walked away from it for whatever reason, or if you're busy doing something else, it tells you it's ready. And again, foil always goes, and I've got that gorgeous red berry one there, looks great on the craft card, always goes coloured side down. And then we're going to pop that craft card on there as well, and just, I tend to just feel where the die is to make sure that we're getting everything in the right place. Okay, and then again, because it's a stamp, I know that it's not going to cut anything. I'm just going to pop this straight up to that ridge in here. And I tend to put my hand flat on it and just pull it and disengage it nice and straight. No wiggling it from side to side, no lifting it up and down, just nice and flat. You want to protect those connectors in there, and then literally pass it straight through your choice of Gemini. So I will swap it to the large Gemini later on in the show, just to show you that extender plate in action. And again, on Wake Up Call, if you were watching this morning, if you didn't see it, you can play that one back. We used the large extender plate with the big Gemini this morning. So again, pop that one on here. It's actually pulling it off already, look. Okay, and again, it's already taken the foil off there, but beautiful. You can see that lovely red foiled design there. Let's pop it this way so you can see there, with those little butterflies. So there are 2 or 3 different ones of the borders and corners to choose from. So I'm just going to bring this to one side again. And then I've done exactly the same and just cut it down and matted it onto some red Centura pearl there, just to pick up that red foiling. So it's just as I've done there. But then, as I say, I always tend to work on a piece that's slightly larger. It gives you a little bit of leeway. If you haven't quite got it straight, you can trim it down then to the size that you want. And then I just wanted to show you how you can actually incorporate this into your card making. So again, I've just gone for a simple 6x6 inch card. I've made myself a background because I wanted to try and look at combining it with as many things as we've got in our stash. So this is actually a stencil that I've used, and just pop some of the red Harmony water reactive ink through the stencil there. So I'm just going to use that as my background. Stamped out a sentiment in the centre there, using the black just as a contrast, you know, and literally make this work. You might want to do a whole foiled card like the samples that I showed you at the top of the show. It may be that you're working on something and think, oh, it just wants that little bit of foil highlight on it. And if you're selling your cards, if you've got an opportunity to sell them, then you'll find that you can get that little bit more money for them when they are foiled. So again, that one's just going to go flat on the back there, and I've just added a couple of little gems to enhance those flowers, and then this is a little die cut that I'd got lying around on my desk and thought, oh, actually this has got butterflies in, it goes in lovely. So again, I've put some tape on the back of here. Hold your breath, everybody.
Ooh,
is it plain?
Hold your breath, hold your breath. Is it
good.
the foam on a roll, Jan?
A little bit, yeah, it is. All right. So we're nearly there. Just left that, there we go, that little bit behind. And again, because it's going onto that craft card and it being a bit more fibrous, I do like to add, I'm sort of like a doubting Thomas. I don't want anything to fall apart. So I do sort of add just a little bit of the wet glue on there as an insurance policy. And this is just going to go as an extra embellishment across the bottom like so, just to bring in that little bit of foil detail onto that project that you may have worked with, you know, with things that you've got in your stash. So again, you just see you've got that lovely design, but then when it hits the light, you've got that gorgeous bit of foiling that tones in nicely with the ink there.
Absolutely
so yeah, that was
gorgeous.
the borders and corners, and this one looks lovely. If you've got a matching envelope, this one looks lovely done, you know, on the point on the back of the envelope, actually to foil onto there so that you've got that link between it as well.
Really, really beautiful, and just want so many things that you're going to have to do on so many different surfaces as well. A question that came in, sorry, I should say, was about the different colours on the top of the boxes of foil and what that means, Jan. The
different colours on the bottom. Oh, now then, mine.
What is the difference in the foils where the top of the box they come in is pink, please?
Say that again, Joe.
What is the difference with the foils where the top of the box they come in is pink rather than purple? I'm not sure.
Unless that's the difference between the Papercraft and the multimedia foil.
So what is the difference
There
between
are
those
two different types of foil. The Papercraft foil, you see, I've not got any of mine in boxes. I take it all out and I've just got them in my tin so that I can use them straight from the tin now. But the difference, and all mine are Papercraft foils. I've never ever used the multimedia foils. And the difference in them is that the Papercrafting will do all your Papercraft products. So whether it be, you know, stamping card, craft card, black card, whatever card stock you've got, textured card, all those sorts of things, acetate, vellum, all the things that you would use in your paper crafting, use the paper crafting foils. But then if you start looking outside those parameters and you want to stamp, you want to foil something maybe onto denim, proper heavyweight denim or proper leather, which is really thick and quite dense, then obviously if you think that that heat has got to penetrate through a much denser sort of medium than just a piece of cardstock, that's where your multi-purpose foils come in, and those higher temperatures. You'll find that you'll need to heat the pieces of metal for that bit longer so that it can penetrate the foil and get into the fabric because it's thicker. So two slightly different areas, all paper crafting, and everything that I've worked with and everything that I'm going to work with today is Papercraft foil. I'm assuming, Joe, that those two colours on the boxes denote between, I'm not 100% sure without seeing them, but I think that's the difference between the Papercraft foil and the multi-purpose foil. I would assume that, yeah.
Brilliant. Right, there's a few other bits I need to share with you. Some other items in the show. This is not those ones. We'll just get that changed for you.
They're coming up later.
That's coming out a little bit later in Monday Makers. We will get the right one for you in just a second. Lovely card, the foil piece really makes it pop. Lynn Harvey's singing Foam on a Roll in the comments.
Oh.
Renee says, I believe this is why I haven't used my foil press. I can't envision it incorporated into a card. So thank you to that, Jan. Right, next slide please. We've got the foil borders and corners die collection for you with 9 elements there. Check out the saving on this. $38.48 or $43.26, best ever price on those. And these are so useful because they really are great for embellishing, wonderful for adding details on things like bridge cards and diorama cards. And look at the platinum price. I mean, may as well be giving it away, Jan. $13.18 or $14.83 if you want to get that. They are normally $14.99 each. Essentially, you're paying for one and a bit of the larger ones. We're sending you the rest totally free of charge. We've also got the foil statement elements collection for you. And these ones here being, of course, our foil stamp and cut dies, which is awesome. You're going to get 4 different designs in there as well, which is amazing. So you're getting the Biarritz, you're also getting in here the Lyon, the Provence and the Regency as well. And again, look at the savings, £70 or $76 you're saving on those. Amazing, amazing value. We've also got some foil stamp expressions available for you as well. You're going to get congratulations party, RSVP and special friend in there as well. Oh, hang on, I've only said 6 there. I've only said 4. I've only got, what's it, so die collection, 6-piece collection. Oh, I think I might have got the wrong details. So in here, mine says you get 4 on my notes. I don't know why. We'll change that for you. We'll come. You get congratulations, party, RSVP and special friend, yeah. I don't know why it's showing 6 on the picture or 6 in the description, but it is for 4 dies, I believe that, and we'll get that changed for you. We've also got, as well, some normal dies, and these are excellent to be used in conjunction with your foil press. That's all a lot of your regular standard dies will be, your thin metal dies, $29.98 or $33.90 again, and also again you're saving more than you're spending on these. Yes, it is a masterclass. It feels like a cartload masterclass almost, doesn't it? That is how great the deals are. Lots of questions still coming about the waste and how you use that. I know you said that was something you were going to do a little later. Any other questions that you've got, get them into me.
This demo.
Oh, yeah. It is fabulous.
It's coming up next.
Any other questions you've got, get them into me. Crafters TV on Facebook, Crafters Companion if you are over on YouTube. Right then, Jan, what's next?
I've got that many techniques that I want to try that literally I've got all of it listed. All down there, all written out with my timings that I've tried at home. You can see that that's the plan. So try and get us through as much as I can. So this one's actually going to show you how to do that waste with this demo. So I've taken the Provence frame, which is beautiful. It really is nice, this one. And because we've gone back to that grey, straight away I know that this is a stamp and cut die. So automatically I'm going to need that metal plate. Remember I said we needed a nice hard surface for that to cut against. You don't want areas of it not connecting, so that nice surface, and also to protect your silicone plate here at the bottom. So again, we're looking at probably a medium die there. It's going to cover certainly more than 1/3. We're certainly into that 2/3. So again, straight back to this, and even now I've been using this since it came out, and I still go back to the book as a reference point every time. So this will become sort of invaluable to you. There is room in the back there to make notes. If there's anything you come across that sort of falls outside the parameters of that matrix, make a note of it. As I say, I keep a separate book. Everything that I do is all sort of noted in here. You can see where I've done previous shows, and it's all written down so that if I want to go back to it, I haven't got to do that trial and error process again of working out how long it needs to be. So we're going to go with stamp and cut, and we're going to go for that medium die, and I'm actually going to work on black cardstock this time, our matte black, which is still a 300 GSM, and for the medium it's telling me a low setting and 45 seconds. All right, now I'm just going to bump it up to 50. As I say, there is a little bit of sort of trial and error with it, but remember I said we've got to heat this plate and the metal there as well. So again, I'm going to cover that silicone plate and protect it. It's going to give me that nice sort of firm surface to work on. We're going to go up to 50 seconds. So just by holding that minute button, it's just counting all the way up there to 50. You've got a minus button if you need to correct it, or you can reset it and start again if it goes too far. And the first thing we're going to do, so step 1 is always heat the metal. So again, I like to pop that one on just to keep that heat focus where I want it. And then while that's working, you can decide, you know, what foil you want and what cardstock you're going to work on. So obviously I've got mine prepped for you. So that gorgeous, I love this, is my favourite, the disco ball. Absolutely
Lovely.
beautiful. And just a word on the foils. If you're doing something like we did at the beginning, so you remember I showed you this one that was an ordinary die, I wouldn't be wasting my really nice patterned foils because it is just picked up an outline as if you've drawn a line on there, so you wouldn't see the benefit of the patterning. Use a plain one. Whereas if you're going to use something that's got some detail in, so like when we did the butterfly, there are areas in there that are a bit more solid, and that's picking up those lovely detailed foils. So again, just have a think about what you want it to do. We've counted down, it's now heated through sufficiently, so that was step 1. Step 2 is to apply your foil and cardstock. Remember, I'm going to keep repeating it, that it goes pretty side down, and then we're going to take that cardstock, which is just a piece of our matte black card, and again I just tend to make sure, I just feel to make sure that it's covered the whole die there. And again, because we're cutting this time, I'm just going to grab that metal shim to give it something to cut against. All right, just to protect my top plate as much as I can. So again, this one just meets nicely on here. Hand on it, retrieve it nice and straight, and then pass it straight through your Gemini.
Fabulous.
Okay.
The deals are amazing, says Donna. Donna, they really are, aren't they? Jan, you are correct. I've kept my foil in boxes. I use the colours of the top of the boxes to separate and put them together. So that was the one about the pink top of the boxes. I would love any tricks to centre a foil on a card front. Mine never is foiled where I want it to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, yeah. And I've had this quite a lot. So use the grid on, let me just move that one off for a second. Use the grid on here. That's why it's got the numbers on. So if I turn this sideways again, you've got inches marked all the way along here with a grid on the actual silicone. It's not as obvious there. And we can just pick it up on the... I can't see that on the screen. I don't know whether you can.
I can't quite see it here.
Yeah, it's actually got, it's very, very faint, but it's actually got a grid on the silicone. I don't know whether our Charlotte can have a little zoom up closer.
Just about see it there?
Just about see it. It's covered in a little square grid, which does help with aligning things. And if, for example, you'd got a piece of cardstock and you were wanting to foil, say, across the bottom edge here, I would bring my die, use the lines in here to get it straight so that you're working up against one of those edges. So literally you're going to get everything straight there. If it's something that you wanted in the centre, go for that centre point where your 2 0 lines meet and work out from there. And then the cardstock you could centre again in that sort of purple area. If I just shoot this along a little bit, you see how I've got, and it should help with that.
Perfect.
But my tip for that would be, and I nearly always work on something that's just a fraction larger than it needs to be for the project so that I can cut it down. And that way, if you do get anything a little bit wonky, you can usually just trim a little bit off the edge and straighten it up a bit. So that's the way I normally get round that. So again, if we come back to the one that we've just done, we're going to take that metal plate away, take the die away. Again, it's cut it out, so we've got that cut. So that bit's actually my waste. And again, always remember we've got to remove that sort of liner. So in the centre here, we've got an area that isn't foiled, purely because there was nothing over this. There was no metal work over it to actually let that foil press. So I'll show you how I'm going to come back to that one in a second. And then again here, just give it a little tiny flick, and onto the black is absolutely stunning. So again, just peel that off and you've got that beautiful frame there with the foiling. But can you see what I mean about there's more depth to that design, and that's showing that glitter ball foil, whereas if it's just an outline from your normal metal dies, you're not going to see all that detail, so you may as well just use a plain silver or a plain colour.
Yes.
Now we're going to actually show you what to do with this bit now as waste, and that will apply to any of the waste. So it could have been the butterfly that we did earlier. It all applies the same. So I'm going to hang on to this bit for a second. I've got a card to show you with using that's already done, and I want to address this bit that's in the middle, and I'm also going to look at the foil waste as well. So two separate elements. We'll do the waste first. And this time we're not going to need anywhere near as long, purely because it is literally just the waste. So you can't really go wrong with this, because if you remember, I said, I'm just going to engage that again, just to make sure it goes to the right temperature. If you remember, I said to foil the waste and take all the foil off here, we want to get rid of it all anyway, so you can't technically overfoil. So the more time you put on there, the more guarantee that you're going to get that it's actually going to work. But basically, what I'm going to do with this one is lay it down onto here, and we're going to heat the foil this time. Now, a couple of things that I need to bring in for this. I'm going to add a couple of shims here, because if you think we've got no depth, although these are thin metal dies, there is some depth to it. So in order to create that depth, we're just going to add a couple of pieces of cardstock in. Just shims. These are just random bits of card that I'd got hanging about. All right, and I'm also this time going to bring in the magnetic shim from my Junior. Now, I tend to keep the magnetic and the metal. I've got one of these that live with my foil press machine. So I've got my set that I use for the Junior when I've got my Junior out in play. But I've got one of these that I keep, just these 2 plates that I keep in my bag for the foil press. I'll show you the bag as well in a second, because we've got that on the show as well, and that's what I keep all my gear in. So what we're going to do now then, and we don't need a massive amount of time for this, is we're going to pop this. And again, I'm using that grid, so I've got my 0 in the centre there, and get that as centered as I can. Okay, and then I've got around about the same distance at either side. And we're probably going to need what? We'll put 20 seconds should be more than enough for this. As I say, you can't really go wrong with this, because you want it to shed what foil it's got left. So we've got no metal work in here this time, so I'm going to pop the card over it just to protect it. So I've just got a piece of plain white stamping card, and I'm literally going to center that now in the grid itself. All right, and we want 20 seconds on there, so press the start button. And this one's just going to heat up the foil. We need to heat it to encourage it to release what's left of the foil, and we should end up with a clear carrier sheet when we've done. So all the foil will come off it all together, and you'll just get that little bit of plastic that's left over at the end, which is clear. So once it's counted down, get that beep again to say that we're ready. And then I just need to build up the depth now as if it had that metal die in there. So I'm going to put my couple of bits of cardstock in, and I'm also going to add that magnetic shim, which it doesn't damage. It's not hot enough for it to damage it. And then always the top plate. This is always the last one to go on. Disengage from the machine and then pass it through the Gemini again.
I need to let you know, a third of the stock of the US foil press is gone now. You're going to need to be fast if you want that. Doesn't include everyone that's got it in their baskets at the moment. I can imagine that going very quickly in the second hour of the show. So US people,
present, isn't it,
perfect one. US people,
I know you guys are not going to get it for Christmas, but you know it's coming.
Little present to yourself.
Yeah, you know it's coming. Right, so let's just take all the shims out of the way then. So that was the magnetic, that was the 2 card shims, and then we've got our card that we're working on here. So just lift that one up. And technically, you think, oh, looks great, done the job perfectly. But don't forget, we've still got that carrier sheet on there that holds all the foil. So I use just the edge of my pokey tool just to lift what is just that clear piece of plastic. And when I actually release this now, it'll not look much different.
Amazing.
Other than the piece of foil that's come off now is virtually clear. There's hardly anything left on there. Just that little, and that's what carries the foil. Yep. But this has given us the most gorgeous design, and it's almost the negative, because this one, it's pushed the foil into the design, but then the bit that was left has technically foiled. If you imagine where this is black, it's actually foiled that area, and you've got the design in the negative. Amazing. So you get like a positive and a negative. So to incorporate that into a project, I have made a shaker card with my one here. So I've literally used that front frame and just built it up with some of the foam tape and popped some shaker pieces in there. All right, you can see there's that depth in the back of it there. And then I wanted to incorporate this as well. So on the inside, I've put a piece with that beautiful foiling and just stamped inside there to add that element and link the two together inside my card there. So again, just ways of showing you how to use them. And then just I'm going to talk you through the last bit, because this is very similar to what we've just done. Remember I said I had this little piece left. All right, so we can actually get, in fact, let's pop it through. We can actually get this to do the same as what we've just done with the waist. And this is the same as if you have a die cut. So if, for example, you've cut out a sentiment die or a butterfly or a flower or whatever it is you're wanting to use an embellishment, I've actually got the black cardstock under here that came out of the centre when we did this particular piece, and the foil piece is still on top of it. So it's a little bit like we've just done foiling the waist. I want it to release all that foil and take the clear carrier sheet off. So again, we'll stay. I need more time this time purely because we've got the cardstock in there. So I'm going to bump it up quite high. As I say, you can't go wrong with this one because you want it to shed as much foil as possible.
So I guess if you do it for too long, the danger is it that you get too much foil normally?
If I was doing something like this and I did it for too long, I'd get foil bits where I didn't want it.
Right, okay.
It's what we call over foiling, and that means you need to reduce the time. If I've got areas of the design missing and it hasn't foiled, then I've not done it for long enough, you'd need to increase. But on this occasion, with using the waist, we want it to get rid of everything and get that bit of clear carrier sheet left. So it doesn't matter, you know, the higher the better. And again, under the same process, I'm going to pop the shims in, and then we're going to count down that 50, and then literally we're going to add that magnetic shim before I pop it through, because we need enough for the pressure in the Gemini to work to its maximum potential. We need the right depth inside our plates, just like we do when we're die cutting. If you're trying to die cut and you've left a couple of your shims out inside, there's not enough for it, not enough depth for the pressure to work with. Works just the same with the foil press. So just by building up that pressure, and again making sure that it's going to do the job we want it to do. So I'm just going to pop this one in when it reaches temperature. It's when it reaches the time. We're going to count down all the way here. You can see it counting down. All right.
Also, Debbie was asking, how durable is heat press design applied to real leather? Will it stand up to daily use, such as wallets and cosmetic bags?
It is more of a decorative purpose. You can hear that beep again there, just telling us it's ready. So I'm just going to pass this through the machine. Yeah, the foiling is more of a decorative purpose. You may find if you're doing it onto fabrics that are going to be used a lot, that you might get some little elements of it scratch off. And it's certainly not going to stand up to washing and things like that. Well, it is more decorative, you know, for things like you know, home decor and cushions and things like that,
What I would definitely say is, though, is that our foiling system, I've been given things that have been foiled in the past, like diaries and stuff like that, the fronts of diaries. And I noticed with a lot of other systems, the foil seems to lose its shine quite quickly or can go quite dull. Ours, I would say, a lot of the samples that you're seeing, a lot of things being made have been around for a really long time, and they are still as good today as they were on the day that they were foiled. So I think it really is brilliant for maintaining its shine, this system, Jan.
It is a really good, and again, you know, it's been thought through, you know, with this, and you know, people say, oh, you work for the company, you're bound to say it, but like I've said many times before, I am a crafter. First and foremost, I am a crafter, and I want things to do what it says on the tin, and I know that our Leanne puts things through their paces so many times with quality control and testing that she would not put it on the market if it didn't do what it said on the tin. And that's the beauty of having the products to play with, because you know that they're going to work. So again, just peeling this from here, and you can see it probably needed a little bit more time actually. Can you just see where there's a bit patchy here? It's left a little bit on here. So again, it could have done with a little bit longer, but basically foiling that piece. And I've got one here that I did at home that I've actually transferred the foil onto and then ran it through, just picked a random embossing folder through. Don't ask me which one it's from.
That's amazing.
Literally just picked a folder, ran it through just with my normal Gemini plates this time, with the 2 clear plates, and then I've used my Stays On ink pad, which is a permanent ink, and just rubbed it over the top there. But this is actually technically the waste. You know, this is what we wanted, but this is what was left over. Turn it into a little tag for your gifts.
Yeah,
you know, your to and from for Christmas. Yeah. So that actually literally is the bit that you would probably normally throw in the bin, because this was the bit that you wanted. I just love the fact that you can do all those extra bits with it.
Absolutely. If you want to get the machine, $74.99, $104.96. As I said, over a third now. The stock in the US has gone. Let me also, very busy on the Foilpress mystery bag as well. Let me share with you, quarter of this has gone now as well. Let me share with you the things you're going to get in here. You're going to get in here this amazing Art Deco foil stamp and cut die. That's worth $24.99. Another one here with the Biarritz frame. You're going to get the Papillon in there as well. So they are awesome value just for those. I mean, you've got around £60–70 worth of value just there alone. Then what we're going to include for you is the flourishes. You are going to get the foliage in there. You're also going to get a special friend. This one is, it could be obviously any one of those sentiments, but they're going to be in there for you as well. And then you'll also get 3 rolls of foils. Of course, you'll just get 3 random ones, but really brilliant because that's a consumable element, so you can never have too much of that. £30. It's the second time I've dropped those. £30 or $40, that becomes £24 or $32 as a platinum member, which is amazing. So fantastic value there on that. Do not miss out on that. Let me give you an opportunity to check out your baskets. Whilst you do that, here's all the details of Club Inspire.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
We've had to make some changes to our shipping charges and we want to keep you informed. With continued pressure on domestic shipments around mainland US, we've had to temporarily increase the cost of our regular 6 to 10 working day standard shipping service from $9.99 to $12.95 and our free shipping threshold from $100 to $125. We also have some really great news to tell you. We've introduced a brand new shipping service called Express Delivery. This is a fully tracked door-to-door service which takes 3 to 7 working days and costs $19.95. This option means you'll get your crafty goodies in your hands sooner, meaning less waiting and more crafting. We're also upgrading delivery services for our Gold and Platinum Club Inspire members who will now receive priority delivery on all of their orders. And if that wasn't enough, we've upgraded these orders to our new Express 3 to 7 day service. Your patience and understanding throughout this very busy time has been amazing. So we'd just like to say a huge thank you and we look forward to chatting to you again very soon.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
Quiet. The neighbours.
I'm all out of Zoom. I'm so lost without you. I'm not singing.
Lisa, if you email in, don't send a picture of your air fryer. Make sure it's something creative.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us, you give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
Joy, there's not a dry eye in the studio here. Debbie's welling up, I'm welling up.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV, create every day.
Very, very busy on this foil press masterclass as we'd expect it to be. Don't forget about that mystery bag. Also, I want to share with you the lowest tote, black or turquoise. I'll give you the details for it. This is a turquoise one here, as you can see. Absolutely fantastic for loads of different uses. Of course, if you're going to pop your buddy bags in here, you get absolutely loads of buddy bags in here. Also, you can put things like your craft and carry workstation will fit in here, your Ditto tool tote, your 12 by 12 paper storers. Pretty much the majority of the Totally Tiffany range is designed to go in here, but it's also just great as a general tote because you can see in here, which is fantastic. So you're not having to look and see where things are. You've got 2 slip pockets on the outside, really nice big wide straps as well. There's nothing worse than like a really thin spaghetti strap on a bag and it cuts in. It's just not nice, is it? You've even got as well somewhere to hang your keys there on the outside or your trolley token, which is fantastic. And all beautifully reinforced and piped as well. $16.99 or $21.99 if you want to go. The hardest thing you have to decide is whether you want the black or you want the turquoise. They are both in stock and available at the moment, which is fantastic. Right, back to Jan then. What's next, Jan?
I use those for my 12 by 12 paper pads. I've got 2 that sit in front of my cabinet. I've got all my pattern papers, well, not all of them, but a selection of I put the newest ones in there and I've got some of the older ones in boxes. But I reckon there must be about 20 that fit in that bag. So I've got plain ones in one bag and pattern papers in the other bag. And honestly, it's ideal. Can't pick them up but that's besides the point, isn't it? So we're going to come back and we're going to have a look at what other things we can foil. Done a lot of work on cardstock to start off with. We did a little bit of vellum at the top of the show, but I want to look at what else we can foil onto. So I've had my foil press on in the break there just to make sure that it's still good to go. I'm still working on the low setting because I'm not going anywhere near those heavier fabrics. These are all lightweight mediums that we can use on the low setting with the paper crafting foil. So if you're buying into that system with the Papercraft foils, we can actually sort of diversify a little bit into going into other mediums. So I've pulled one of the dies out of my stash. This one I don't think is actually on the show, but again, you may have already got it. You may have something similar. But this is just a little stamp and cut, that dark grey little heart die. We're going to use that first of all. And the first thing I'm going to work on is a piece of faux leather. So if you remember, I said the real leather was much, much thicker, probably about 3 times the thickness of this for a piece of real leather. And that's where you go into that other bracket. This is only very, very thin, probably thinner than cardstock actually. So again, it works beautifully. So again, we're going to have a look in here. And at the bottom, we've got PU leather, which is the faux leather. And I'm working with a stamp and cut die. So at the bottom here, small die, it says 10 seconds on here. Again, I've had to increase that slightly. I've doubled it just to make sure we're getting the right idea. Purely, every time I pick up one of those grey dies, I'm going to bring in that metal plate. And this is why I've increased the timings, because we've got to heat the plate and the die, okay? So again, we're going to pop that in the centre there, just using that 0 grid again on my, my plate. And we're going to go for about 22 seconds, I think should be enough on there. I've done a little bit of playing around at home to get the right one. First job then, step 1, exactly the same procedure. We're going to warm up that metalwork. So again, lid on, lid off, whichever you prefer. It just makes sense to me that you want that heat to focus in there, so cover it up. Then I have got a piece of the gold foil. So this is the same colour as the one that you get free in your kit. And I've got that piece of faux leather. And then, of course, if we're cutting, I'm going to bring in my metal plate just to absorb that cut and protect my top plate. So we've got the beep there. So I'm just going to literally rattle through these because I've got several different mediums for you. So coloured side down, piece of fabric over the top, metal plate in place just purely to protect the top plate. Line that one up and take that one off because I've swapped my Gemini. And I'm going to bring in the extender plate because I've just taken out the big Gemini for you to show you this one. So again, this one goes on in exactly the same manner, but we've got this extension bit here. So you can see it's considerably wider than the one that I was using before. And that's because the sensors in the large Gemini are further apart because the mouth area is bigger. So just by extending that, it's going to trigger those sensors and start the motor, whereas this one would fit between the sensors, so it wouldn't trigger the motor in the Gemini. So that's the reason that we need to swap it out. and it does exactly the same job. Everything else remains the same. It's just this bit here that we need to get those sensors in the large one. So again, take those off, and this is just cut through like butter, look.
Oh,
so that's our waste. Whoa! Sorry.
What was that?
I could see that going and then I couldn't catch it in time. My apologies.
Charlotte just fell off a chair. She was so scared.
Sorry. I could see them slipping at the side of me and I couldn't catch them. Poor Charlotte, bless her. So again, take that one off there. I'm going to use my tweezers just to move that one out of the way. Oh, in fact, I do need that again in a second. Again, always remember, you think, oh, it's done a great job, it looks lovely, but just remember you've got to take that foil off. Now this one, I had great fun trying to get this one off because it had sort of not stuck to the fabric, but I had trouble at home getting it to separate just because the leather is a different medium. So it's just a case of getting that pokey tool in between. Oh, talk amongst yourself, guys.
Loads of people chatting on the socials. Renee says, beautiful car jam. Patty says, I love all the TT products. Patty also says, saving this watch back when I finally get a chance to pull out my foil press. And Shadaya has just got a delivery as well. She said, DHL Express just sent notification. My last parcel for the year is being delivered today. Thanks for the speedy delivery and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too, Shadaya.
Oh, thank you, Joe. That was excellent time filling there. I found it. Look, I found the edge now. So when we take this one off here, you can see now that you've got that beautiful foil that's actually gone onto the edge of my piece there.
Nice.
If you get the odd little speck in the middle, it will just pull off where you've not had the dye. So that little tiny bit that's just got in the middle there. But again, punches that little hole in this one. So you could either use this as is. What I tend to do is back these onto cardstock and use these as gift tags as well. So again, you know, you've just got that little bit of something different. And then I'm going to use the same dye and do the same on some cotton as well. So this again is just very lightweight cotton. It's not denim sort of quality, it's very thin again. All right, and I just need to up this to 30 on here. So again, step one, get that heat going. Again, we can pop that lid on it if we wish, just to keep it warm. And then I'm carrying on with the gold this time, and we're going to literally do this over that black cotton. So it's always the side that you want to see, whether it be the foil or the fabric, goes foil press down. So we're just counting down here. You can see that timer going down. When it gets to 0, it's going to beep to tell us that it's finished. And then at that point, there we go. Take that front piece off, pop our foil on. Because we're cutting, I'm going to pop that metal shim back in again, just as protection. We need the big one, Jan. And again, in there, up to that, just meets that piece on the plate again. Disengage, and then pop that through our large Gemini. So you can see how it does exactly the same job. It is literally just about triggering those sensors in that large machine. So that is a separate purchase. But like Joe said earlier, we've got the 10% off all the accessories. So if you do need to add one of these in your cart today, then you've got that those in stock for you. Again, brilliant. It's done the cut. You can see we've got the waist there. We've got the nice little tag, and then I've got the same problem again. So we might need to talk amongst ourselves again, Joe.
No
just for
problemo.
a second.
Any questions you've got, get them into me. Crafters TV on Facebook, Crafters Companion over on YouTube, and I'll pop them across to Jan. So we've got about 40 minutes or so left of this masterclass, so definitely time to get those questions in. And remind me which fabric this was again?
So this is just cotton, just very thin cotton. You can see there we've got that lovely shaping on there. This that's in the middle, if you get a pencil rubber, it will just rub out of the centre there, where it's just over, it's the pressure that's just pressed it in, but because there was nothing there for it to foil onto, it will rub back off again.
Excellent.
So again, a couple of little tags there. Everything that you're foiling, all these pieces will do the technique where we can release the rest of the foil. So if you wanted to put these onto some plain cardstock and then just cut round them with your scissors, you've got 2 extra tags basically for the price of what was the the waste. So again, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to move that one this time. We're going to come in with one of the sentiments this time. So I've just got the congratulations sentiment, which I think is in that bundle that we've got on the show. And we're going to have a look this time at some ribbon. So I've just got satin ribbon here, piece of navy ribbon, and again you can do this just the once as a feature, or you can keep repeating it. So if you've got a long length of ribbon, you can keep moving it along and leave the end out of the end of the machine so that it's not getting stuck in your Gemini, and just literally go all the way along your ribbon to use as a feature. So again, only a small one this time. So again, we're going to reset, just check my list. Oh, we only need 10 seconds on this one, so pop it up to the 10. First job then is always to heat up that metalwork. So again, I always use that centre line just as a guideline. Get it going. I don't need the metal plate this time because we've gone back to the silver and it is the stamp. I don't need the metal plate. I'm just going to need my top plate for this one. So next bit on is our medium, which is our ribbon. No, it's not. Next bit's going to be the foil, Jan. Coloured side down again, then the ribbon, and because I've centred it, again I'm sort of using this grid to centre the ribbon, and then because it's only going to press this into it, I'm safe to just put my top plate on there. So again, nice and steady, taking it out of the connectors, popping it through the Gemini. It's going to apply the necessary pressure there just to seal it all off, and you've got that lovely, you know, if this was wrapped around a present, or if it was it could be used on a card, instead of using a stamped sentiment, you could actually use a nice foiled sentiment on there. And again, you've got that beautiful, oops, do you know, look, it's not even making me peel the foil away, but just look at that. And that's the rose gold foil. I'm trying to use as many of the different foils for you and different fabrics. But again, the one that I'd done earlier at home was a thank you. And again, I've just fishtailed the ribbon there. Just, you know, this could be your sentiment on your card. So again, just trimming into it. And I didn't even have to peel the foil away on that one. It just came away of its own doing. Again, I'm just going to keep going. What about foiling? You know, a lot of our paper in the paper pads is uncoated. So again, adding, you know, it could be that beautiful corner that we did earlier that you might want to put in here. I'm just going to literally do the sentiment again on here. So again, pop that in. I'm just going to pop it up to 15 seconds. It is still slightly warm, but we'll still go with the heating it up anyway. And then I've also got some glitter card and some card that I've inked as well. So, you know, there's endless possibilities as to what you can foil onto. You'll find yourself walking around thinking, what else can I foil? Could I foil that? Could I foil this? And my advice would be try it. And remember that golden rule. If you get too much foil where you don't want it, reduce the timings. If you don't get enough foil, then increase the timings. Now I've just realised that this is actually, I want to put this lower down because I want it to be in that, that's right, yeah. So just again, using the grid, but I want it to be in this bottom section here. So again, I can now line that up and make sure everything's straight on the grid. Again, there's nothing else, it's not going to cut, it's just a stamp. So again, straight with that top plate. And you can see I'm just doing the same process over and over again. So heating up the metal, applying the foil and your chosen medium, add your top plate and pass it through the machine. It doesn't get any easier than that. It's just a case of working out those timings. And that's why I always make a note of what I've done, so that if I decide to come back to a particular technique, I can just have a look in the notebook and not have to worry about working it all out again.
Question coming from Mary, who says, can I use the all craft foil on paper? Is anything to stop you doing that?
Say that again.
So the Papercraft foil, I'll read the full question, sorry. Mary Celia says, I bought the foil press soon after it launched and I bought from both types of foil. I'm more of a paper crafter. Can I use the other foil in Papercraft as well?
The multi-surface
Yes.
foil, I believe so. I
Perfect.
believe you can. It doesn't work the other way around. You can't use the Papercraft foil for the multi-surface, but I believe you can use it the other way around. But just don't quote me on that one. Have a play with it, have a check. It's about needing the extra heat and the temperature goes up. So coming down again that way, I think you would be okay with that.
Awesome.
But again, you know, if you just look at this here, just being able to actually
That finishes
spin it
up
round
beautifully,
again.
doesn't it?
You know, just that extra bit of foil. As I say, if you're selling your projects, it just takes it to that next level, you know, by just adding. And yet you're restricted to what size you can work with. But again, you know, you may mat and layer this onto a larger piece if it's a larger project. So different ways of getting round things like that. Do you want me to carry on with these?
Yeah, why
Yeah?
not?
I've got a couple more to do then.
Just
One
to
of
let
the
you know,
ones,
it's very
glitter
busy
card.
still on the US foil press at the moment. So if you are watching in the US, if you're watching this back after the show, check the website for the stock situation. I would say we're only holding that price for 24 hours. So you will need to be quick if you want to get your hands on it whilst you've got that brilliant discount.
Right, so I'm going all the way up to 60 seconds this time, purely because the glitter card, and I'll get that going while we're talking. The glitter card is very, very dense. Obviously you've got a decent weight cardstock, then you've got the glitter coating, and it is a very dense sort of medium. So again, I've gone up higher rather than lower.
Okay.
And we're going to use that beautiful turquoise, stands out nicely on the silver glitter card. So as I say, I'm trying to get through all the different foils for you, as well as showing you as many techniques so that you can see the colours. So we just need to do the countdown. We're still working with that congratulations, which is a stamp. So I don't need to worry about any shims or anything like that. And I'm still using my large Gemini, so we need that extender plate. But you can see how well it's working in the large Gemini. It is just having that extra width here to trigger the sensors. So we're just counting down there, and then the same again. I'm going to put my foil pretty side down, I'm going to put my cardstock pretty side down, and then we're going to pass it through the Gemini. So repeating that process over and over again. The only thing that changes is the length of time that we're actually heating the metal up for, depending what we're wanting it to do. So you can see there, we're going to pop the coloured side down on there. We're going to pop our piece of cardstock, and I'm going to try my best to sort of get it centered. And then again, we're going to come in with that extender plate and just make sure it's nicely positioned here. Make sure you've got these at either side. Again, I tend to put my hand on here to keep it flat and remind myself not to jiggle it about any, and then literally pass it through the machine there. And then I've just got one last one to show you, which is a piece of stamping card that I've actually inked with our Harmony ink pads. So again, you know, all those backgrounds that we keep talking about, what are we going to do with them? You know, why not get your foil onto there as well? So again, let's take that one off and we'll have a look. I'm going to pop that back in because we do need to, but again, just look at this onto.
Amazing that it works on a
and
glitter
again,
card, because it's so textured, isn't it?
Yeah, if you get any extra bits here, usually a pencil eraser will actually take those off. But again, just look, just keep it this way. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Again,
really
it just finishes it off. I mean, as if the glitter card isn't luxurious enough to start with. That bit of foiling on there just adds, really adds to it. And then the last one, as I say, is going to be just a piece of stamping card. And I've done, you know, the mop it up technique with the ink and dried it off. And I'm going to use that lovely fuchsia pink on there. So again, we've got, I'm going to reduce it down now to 20 seconds. We don't need to be as heavy with this one because the cardstock's not as thick. 20, Jan, not 30. There we go. And again, get it started. There is some residual heat in there because I'm doing this repeatedly. There is a little bit of residual heat in there, but obviously if you're doing it and then working on a project and your plate's cooled down, then you need to make sure that you've got enough timing on there. So we'll do one last pass for this one. Just counting down, beeping to say it's ready, and then foil pretty side down, cardstock. In fact, let me reposition this one. I want to try and get it a little bit closer. So when I'm trying to position things like that, I tend to put it where I want it, like so. Yep, and then place it down on here. All right, so you can see we've got it roughly in the right place. So that's lined up with the 2.5. Pop my foil back down, line that back up with the 2.5. and hopefully we should be just about in the right place. The last one on there, and then I'm going to flip it back to the Gemini Junior again, just to carry on. I've got a few more techniques to show you how we do. We've got half an hour.
Yeah, we've got about half an hour left, which is pretty good. Cara says invitations will look great with that paper. Linda says thanks for all of your fantastic demonstrations and your in-depth instructions. I'm saving this for when I am ready to use my foil press. Got to leave. I will definitely watch it again later.
Oh,
it's
thank
great.
you.
You can watch back anytime you like any of our shows over on our website, which is fantastic. You can go all the way back, Jan, if you dare.
Yeah, all the way. Yep. Right, so again, if we just peel this back, I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. And again, I've just got that little bit there. If you use the pencil rubber, it'll take that little bit off, but you can see we've got that beautiful, and I think it just takes it to a whole different dimension. So not only have you got that lovely, you know, you could pop, what would look nice there was, where's my folder from earlier gone? I had that little embossing folder. I don't know what I've done with it. It was in there. You could pop this now with the embossing folder just so far down and emboss that top section and have your sort of sentiment foiled at the bottom there. Again, just a few ideas for you. So lots of different mediums, not an exhaustive list. I could go on all afternoon with it, but just showing you one or two that you might want to use within your crafting sort of stash.
Yes, absolutely.
Okie dokies, phew.
Brilliant. Very, very busy still on that foil press machine. Let me share with you the foils again that we've got for you on the show. Brilliant collection here for you. So you're going to get the holly, the rose gold. You will also get the disco ball, the turquoise as well. Then you've got silver and the berry. We've also got then the aurora, the cerise. This one here is your gold, and you'll get the silver shimmer and the gold shimmer in there as well. You get absolutely all of those, which is fantastic. 12 rolls. You pay for 9, we send you 12, which is great. And of course, when you use your Club Inspired discount, you're looking at a really, really awesome price. Looking at about, what, £2.20 a roll as a Platinum member, which is amazing value for money. So definitely grab a hold of those. The other thing that you might want to go for, see, you've got that great saving on the machine. Maybe you want to treat yourself to a case to pop it into, keep it all nice and pristine. We've got the carry case available for you, $26.99 or $35.95, which is about what you're saving on the machine, isn't it, with that 25% discount? Everything in here, so you could also go for this, you've got a case for free essentially. In here you've got a space for everything, so you've got, let me just move those out the way, I don't know what they're doing in there. You've got here all spaces for your different tweezers, all your accessories, your rolls of foil, you've got your mesh pockets here as well. Then down the back here you've got a slip, so we've actually got a spare platform in there, and that's where we can then actually pop all of our shims into there as well. So that's fantastic. Let's close that up and show you the other side, because then on the other side you've got a really nice big pocket for your actual machine to go into. So you've got room to store the foil press itself in there, and also lots of room for a little project. We've got a large metal plate in there as well. You could have your extender in there for your Gemini machine too. So really fantastic bag, designed specifically to store your Gemini foil press. If you've got our purple binders as well, you know how great quality they are. This is the same awesome quality as our binders, which is fantastic. So make sure you're grabbing hold of that. $21.59 or $28.76 if you are a Platinum member, so definitely stock up. Lots of you still chatting away as well. Nancy says, Jan, this is the best foil press demo I've seen. Can't wait to get my foil press dusted off and rewatch after Christmas. Kathy says as well, I have the foil press but I've never used it. Thanks, Jan. I'm saving this video and it will make it nice and easy to use. Jan's got her carry case out, I can see as well.
I have. I use this all the time, Joe. My foil press lives in here when it's not in use, and that first compartment here holds the actual machine. So the base and the silicon plate and my electric cable goes in there. My mains cable goes in that side, and then in this side I've usually got all the bits and pieces with me that I need. So literally it's a way of keeping it all together. I've got spare foils in here, my tweezers go in there when I'm going home tonight. Like Joe said, I've got all the different plates and things fit in the top there. How Charlotte going to have a little peek through the top there. You can see all sorts of bits and pieces in there. I've got swatches in there. I've got extra pieces that I've used on previous demos. My 2 little plastic feet normally fit in this one, and I literally keep this as it is, and make sure that everything goes in it, and literally that's all you've then got to worry about. And then I have my separate tin of foils, and that's my foil press kit at the ready. I can just grab that when I need it. If I'm wanting to foil at home, just literally take this off the shelf, and it is really, really useful. If you're actually buying into that system today, I would definitely recommend having that bag just to keep it all together. You've not got to worry about where it is, what did I do with the foils, oh, I've lost my tweezers. It's all there for you to just grab and work with your machines and actually have fun with. Then you can take all that worry about where did I leave it.
Yeah, absolutely, and you've got it all kept together there, as Jan says. Going to give you an opportunity to check out, and also, if you are just joining us in the second half of the show, a brilliant deal for you on the foil press machine itself, a flash sale, 25% discount on that for you, which is amazing. You get everything you'd normally get in there as standard, so that's of course the base, the platform, the top plate, the metal shim, the silicone cooling mat. You've got the magnetic tweezers here as well, the finger grips, the foil. You're going to get 2 of the foil stamp and cut dies and 3 of the foil stamp dies as well. Everything you'd expect to get as normal, but what you're also getting today is that 25% saving. Let's take a moment to share with you all the incredible features of the Gemini foil press.
The Gemini foil press has arrived. Professional and luxurious hot foil letterpress can now be achieved in your own home with our innovative foil press system. This clever machine has been designed with so many fabulous and unique features, and it really does take paper and mixed media crafting to an exciting new level. Delivering professional looking foiling results using a hot press technique that ensures crisp, clean images. Perfect for stationery, invitations, party decorations, home decor, and so much more. The foil press is the only hot foiling system that uses a silicone plate, and we've created a plate that has edge-to-edge heat, so no matter where you place the dies, the heat will be the same. There are no cold spots or hot spots, just one consistent temperature, which again ensures perfectly foiled results every time you use it. Fast heat up reduces wait time, making projects faster to complete. The innovative foil stamp and cut dies allows you to do exactly that, creating professional quality hot stamping, and they work on everything from paper, fabric, cardstock to leather, vinyl, balsa wood and more. Don't waste any of your foil, as you can use the negative foil left over to create another project. With any machine that involves the use of heat, safety features are an absolute priority. The foil press has been fitted with a built-in cool-down feature that kicks in when the machine has been in use for a lengthy amount of time. There is also an automatic shut-off feature that will turn the machine off if the heated platform has been engaged for 25 minutes and not used. Everything needed comes in the box, including a handy manual which gives you all the time and temperature settings for the dies, so you can start foiling straight away. The Gemini foil press, made by crafters for crafters.
It really is a fantastic machine, and of course all designed and engineered to work perfectly in your Gemini. It's almost just an extension of your Gemini machine. It's going to enable you to get that really lovely professional foiled result. Still time to get any requests in, any questions that you've got. Crafters TV over on Facebook, Crafters Companion if you are on YouTube. But for now, we're going to head back over to Jan. What would you like to share with us next?
Right, the one that we get asked about the most, I think, with the foil press is, can we foil our normal dies? And the answer is yes. So I'm going to go through that technique of how to foil them. I'm also going to cut a sentiment out and show you how to actually foil the sentiment. So a little bit like the one that I showed you at the top of the show, we're going to go through the process of how this was put together, including that lovely, if I get that in the light, you can see that we've got that foiling on the actual sentiment. So what started out as a white die cut, you can actually foil the die cuts. So let's have a look at that then. I've taken one of those beautiful frames that we've got on the show for you. This is the daisy frame. So just move those stamps out of the way. I want the internal frame, which is this one. So any of the metalwork that you have in your stash, providing it fits in the parameters of that foil press plate, you can actually foil now. So all you need to bear in mind with this is that it is a very, very fine cutting line that's raised. And that's the bit that's going to pick up the foil. So you're going to get that lovely filigree outline as if you've drawn this image in like a foil pen, if that's possible. So it's not going to sort of do the die cutting because we're not going to have enough sandwich for the pressure to actually cut. It's just going to pop the foil against that outline. So let me show you what I mean there. So again, we're going to bring that foil press in. And again, a little bit of trial and error with this because we just need to heat up the metal. So again, I've gone for sort of a medium die there. It's covering more than a third. I'm going to work on white stamping card. So I used this as a guideline and looked at 300 GSM cardstock on a medium die was 15 seconds. Now I've actually tried it and it needs 20 on mine.
Okay.
So again, I'm using that grid. So I've worked, sort of tried to centre it in the whole thing so that you've got a chance of getting it, you know, reasonably straight. But the piece of cardstock that I'm going to work on is slightly bigger than my finished piece, so I can cut it down if I need to. So job number one then was always to heat the metal. So we need 20 seconds on there and press our start button. All right, and just while I'm heating that up, I've just remembered we'll swap back to the Gemini Junior again there, just to show you them both in action. So we'll just...
Susan is asking, is the black rubber mat that you're using the same as the pink rubber mat that comes with the Junior, so the embossing mat?
The black one is the original. Sorry, yes, that is a good question. I had to think then. This is the original magnetic shim.
Okay.
So it actually looks... that's the bigger one, but they look like this now.
Right.
So it would be the equivalent of this one for the Junior. This is my original one. That's how long I've had my my Geminis. Yeah, sorry. I'd not thought about that, actually. I'm not used to that being there. Very, very good question. Thank you. So again, we've done the heating. I've got some gold foil this time. Always, always pretty side down. You've heard me say that tons. And again, just plain white stamping card. And again, I'm going to centre that as near as I can get it on the purple grid, because I know that the die was centred, we should be reasonably accurate. Now then, because we're not going to cut anything, I don't need to put any extra shims in there. I am literally just going to pop my top plate on there. All right, and then disengage it. And I've brought the Junior back into play so we can leave that plate on and we can pop that through. So because there isn't a lot of depth in that sandwich, it's not going to force that die through the cardstock and actually cut it out. I don't want it to cut out, I want it to pick up that foil. So where the foil meets the edge of that raised element of the die, which would normally be the cutting edge, that's where it's going to pick up the foil and we get the most gorgeous effect. So again, I'm just going to move that one. She says it's got a bit of sticky on the back of there. That's it, onto there. Pop that to one side for a second. And again here, you've got that beautiful, if I just take this off, really, really delicate foiling on there. And again, you've just got what is as if you've drawn the die. It's just really, really sort of, I think it's really elegant. So depending, you know, some of the creator card dies, for example, as long as they fit on that plate, you're going to get a really nice finished technique with them. And then the other part I wanted to show you, this particular set has some sentiments with it. So I've got the word celebrate on this one. So just on a scrap of white cardstock, I can actually cut that out. So just nothing to do with the foil press now. I'm just going to grab my Gemini plates there and cut this out as if I was making a die cut. So yeah, it was this. This is the magnetic shim that I was using. So whereas I'd got the black one, it's actually now sold with the grid on, which is much, much better for positioning things. Okay, and again, we're just going to pass that through just normally, as I say, nothing to do with the foil press. I just want to die cut that actual sentiment, and then we're going to foil the sentiment. So that sentiment could be a butterfly, it could be a flower, it could be, you know, imagine some of the beautiful shapes that we've got in some of the signature collections, the feathers out of the Masquerade collection, something like that. You could die cut them out and literally get your die cut. So if I take this out now, we have got a lovely little die cut sentiment. So again, I'm just going to tease that out of the die there, and I've got that word celebrate. So what I want to do now is actually foil this so that it will match my design. So I'm just going to be very frugal and use a bit that's left in the middle of here, which should be more than big enough. So again, cut your foil down near enough to the size you want to work with. There's no point in putting a massive big piece of foil in if you don't need it. So again, I just want something that's going to be big enough to cover that sentiment there. So that should be enough there, just to cover it over. Right, so bringing this back into play then, we just need to make sure that we're back on the green. And I'll leave it on the 20 seconds. Remember I said when we're doing something like this, we're wanting that foil to shed the whole of its colour. I just want that clear carrier sheet left, so it doesn't matter how high this is, because you can't overfoil with this particular technique. You're wanting it to cover it. All right, so what we're actually going to do this time, when we've got that on, we're going to pop the foil on first, all right, and then we're going to put the sentiment. So I've got the front of the sentiment to the back of the foil, because obviously we want this to go over the top. Yeah?
Excellent.
So literally, foil down first, coloured side down, sentiment sort of like front side down, so it's upside down where I'm looking at it. We're back to green, so we're good to go. I've got my 20 seconds on. I'm also going to pop my shims on here because I don't want this excess foil to actually go all over my plates again. So again, I'm just going to pop, I think we'll put them both in just for, because we've got no metal work in there, we'll put them both in. And then we're going to count down the 20 seconds. All right, so I've got my top plate on at the ready. And this is actually going to cover. So, you know, you might say, well, I could just cut that out of mirror card, which is fine. You could, if that's what you want to do. But bearing in mind, you're working with that beautiful foil, it's nice to have the foil sentiment to match it. So, telling us it's done. So again, I've got everything ready. Disengage this and pop it through. So you can see that process is the same. I keep repeating it. Heat the metal, apply your foil and your chosen medium, pop it through your Gemini. It's the same process every single time, and you'll soon get into that habit. It's just judging the timings, using that matrix as a guideline. It's just judging those timings. Now this time it's literally going to have worked onto my piece of cardstock there, which I'm not too worried about. When I peel this away, you can see there that it's attached the foil to that sentiment there.
I love it. This is my favourite. This is my favourite. Gosh, Jan, what is going on with my words today? This is my favourite technique.
I'm going to have to put some money in the slot in between the two shows.
Honestly, I've slept terribly last night and then woke up so early today. I'm just like, I don't know where I am.
Now, just looking at that closely, it could have done with a little bit longer. Can you see how there's still a little bit of the white card showing there? So I think we could have done with a bit longer. It's what we call underfoiled. So I'm glad in a way that it's done that to show you what I mean by actually, I can see bits here where there's still elements of the white cardstock showing. So just a little bit longer would get it to do the whole thing.
Patricia says if you doubled it up, so cut two and stuck one together and then foiled it, would you just do exactly the same process?
Yes, and that's exactly what I've done. I tend to do this whenever I'm using a die cut sentiment. I nearly always cut it twice and stick them together. I like the fact that it's a bit more raised. That's exactly what I did. I cut it out of white card twice, stuck it together and then did the foiling. So if I tip that there, you can see that lovely gold on the sentiment as well. We've got all that gorgeous foiling around the outside, and then I've just added, because there were nice daisy flowers, just added pearls there in the centre, but just to show you what something like that looks like on a finished design there as a card. So yeah, any of your dies, have a look at them. Look at the, you know, all the designs, as I say, the outline dies, the creator card dies, anything like that, anything that's got that beautiful sort of filigree detail on, you're going to get that really delicate impression where it just picks up the cutting line work on the foiling, and that will work with any. The only thing I would stress is that they do need to be thin metal dies. Please do not put your multimedia dies. They are too thick and they will damage your machine. So it is just thin, wafer thin metal dies, but anything you've got, give it a go and see what kind of result you get with them.
Excellent. $74.99, $104.96. That gets you the machine with the 25% discount, but it's only for 24 hours and it's very, very busy at the moment. Something else that's very busy I want to share with you is the mystery bag. A third of the stock of the mystery bag has gone. Remember what you're going to get in here. You're going to get 3 rolls of foil, which is fantastic. You never have too much foil in your stash. We're also going to give you as well a sentiment in here. You're going to get some foliage in here, a flourish as well, and then 3 of our amazing foil stamp and cut big ones. These are worth $24.99 each. So you're going to get the Art Deco. This one here is the Biarritz, and you've also got the Papillon in there as well. Grab all of those. They are a brilliant, brilliant deal. Over £100 or $120 worth of value. You can get that for £30 or $40, which is great. And you can use your Club Inspired discount as well. Suzette Sue says, Merry Christmas to all my crafty friends and CTV family. It was a great year spending it with you all. Have an awesome holiday and a fantastic new year. Oh, same to you, Susie. I hope you have a lovely Christmas. Mama Cass says the Aurora comes up beautiful on Black Centura Pearl cardstock as well, which is fantastic. Right. Any last minute questions you've got, get them in. I need to let you know that now over 40% of the stock of the US foil press has gone. And as we get towards the end of the hour, lots of you got it in your baskets as well. So the 40% is everyone that's checked out at the moment. If you're watching the show back later today, absolutely make sure you're checking the website for the stock situation, because I know it's going to be very, very busy. And remember, it does only last for the 24 hours. So you'll have to get it before that time's up, because if you come back tomorrow, it will be back to its usual price, which is worth every single penny of $99.99 or $139.95. Definitely get it though whilst you've got that extra discount. What would you like to show us next, Jan?
Right, I've just got one more technique to show you. I've got a couple of pieces of finished samples that I can show you, but this one, again, worst thing ever to see on air, is actually a cello bag. You know that you pop your finished cards in if you're wanting to sell them. So you can actually foil onto these as well. So it may be that you want to then tie it up and make it into a little sweetie bag or something like that, or pop a gift in it. So again, it's very, very thin. So I'm going to use my matrix to sort of get me started as to where I want to go with it. And all I'm going to do is foil a sentiment. I've got the thank you sentiment here, and I'm just going to pop this onto the front of the bag. So again, it's only a very small one, and we're just going to have a look on the stamp section, because it is silver, it's just a stamp. And I'm going to go along the acetate one, and it says for a small stamp that we need 10 seconds. Now again, this is slightly heavier, and it's you know than the acetate on there. So I've actually worked out with mine when I checked it that it needs 20 seconds on. So we've got 20 seconds on the clock ready, and then because this is double thickness, I'm going to pop a piece of spare cardstock just inside it, because obviously I don't want it to seal the two pieces of the bag together. So the heat and the pressure, there is a chance that when we actually foil it, it would press them together. So by popping the cardstock in, it's keeping this back section free for us to use afterwards. So I've got my die at the ready. So step one was to heat the die. Then we're going to use that lovely turquoise foiling to just pop the word thank you across the bottom of the bag. So again, as far as placement's concerned, have a think about where you want your wording to go. So I want it to sort of be in the lower part and centered roughly. And then what I do is turn this over, and I'm going to use the bottom of this as a guideline to get it straight. So again, I'm just going to pop that either side so that it's about level, and then I've laid my die down where it needs to go. All right, so it's on the flat part there. And again, that 20 seconds to get started, and literally just cover it over. I cut all my foils in advance, and I would recommend that you have your stall set out, you know, so that you're not spending, the last thing you want is this to have counted down and you're still busy cutting foil or choosing your medium. Have everything ready and have it all at the go, so like I have, ready to just use them, because the minute this is ready, the longer you leave it now, it's still warming up. The heat hasn't stopped, it's just the timer that's stopped. So it is literally just ticking away. So again, foil pretty side down. I'm going to put this exactly where we had it, which was up against that base layer, and just centered on the actual plate there itself. And it is just a stamp, so I just need my top section on there. Remember what I said about disengaging it nice and flat and straight to protect that connection, and then again passing it through our Gemini.
Roxanne's asking what it means by the details on the screen. It says global version. You don't need to worry about that. If you're in the UK or Europe, if you're in the UK or Europe, or you're across in the US, where you go to the website where you're shopping, and we will make sure you get the perfect machine for wherever you are. I know it's to do with voltage, isn't it, in the US?
Yes.
If you're ordering on the US website, you'll get a US voltage machine. If you're ordering on the UK website, you'll get UK voltage. If you're in Europe, you'll get the correct machine for you as well. So you don't need to worry about that.
So again, remember I've got the piece of cardstock inside here, which I'm going to leave for a second, but you can see there when we take this off now, we've got the most exquisite foiling, and if I pull my piece of cardstock out now, you can see that that's actually foiled onto the bag
beautiful.
there. So again, if you were wanting to make like wedding favours, or if you were having, I know we did, what's the word? Before the baby was due. Baby shower. We did a baby shower for Vanessa before she had Toby, so anything like that that you're wanting to pop little favours in, these are gorgeous. You can pop your goodies in there and then just tie them with a little bit of ribbon round them. But again, it's just a way of personalising, and because we put that cardstock in, it's not touched the back of the bag there, it's not sealed it together, we've just got it on the front, so any of the foils will work in there. I just think it's a really nice sort of, again, just those little touches I think just make all the difference there. So yeah, just yet another way that you can use it. And again, the list's not exhaustive. I've tried to cram as much in here as I can for you, but there are still probably lots of different techniques that we could go into. All right, so that was
Excellent.
your cello bags there.
Do you want to do the, have you got cards for card of the show?
I've got some, but I think the majority of them were pre-done, so I don't know whether that's fair to judge them, because I've not actually made them on the show. It's entirely up to you guys.
You're only competing against yourself.
I can show you what we did, but I just think, is it necessary?
Oh, let's put them in, yeah.
Yeah,
Come on,
well, we had the two. Well, let's go through them in order then. If we're going to put them in, he wants to put them in. So the top of the show, we looked at, again, how to do that foiling on your own dies. So just thin metal dies and then foiling the sentiment. That was number one. Number two, we used that lovely red berry foil onto the craft card there. And again, we've just got that lovely little sort of flash of foil with the inked background through the stencil. That was number two. Number three finished. Again, it was already pre-done, but we used that beautiful Provence frame with the disco ball foil. I had a ball and a foil, which was a boil, Joe. Bit better than your combination. Thank goodness. But
Disco
yeah,
boil.
just the disco boil fall there.
Wow.
Just with the shaker pieces in. And then again, we've pretty much replicated. I wanted to show you how to do that with your own dies there with the foiled sentiment. So there were lots of other bits and pieces in between, but those were the four that were actually finished there. If you want to do a vote,
wonderful.
It's entirely up to you guys.
1, 2, 3 or 4. I need to again share with you the carry case. Very busy on this. And actually, the thing is about the carry case, it's costing you about what you're saving on the actual machine itself. So it's really awesome one to go for. Everything that you need in here, room for your foils, room for all of your tweezers, room for your accessories as well, pokey tools, beautiful little pockets in there. Then a slip pocket here as well, so you're going to be able to store your extra platform in there, your silicone trivet, your top plates as well. And then we've also got as well, let me just zip this up for you. It's brilliant quality this as well. It's very much the same as the purple binders that we have for the stamp and die storage binders. And then in here what we got, another top plate, so a A4 top plate there for you, a metal shim there for you, and room for your whole machine in there too. You could even definitely get some projects and stuff in there, maybe a few of your foil stamp dies too. So everything you need in one place ready to go. You're looking at $26.99 or $35.95 if you want to get your hands on that. Stephanie says, I was playing with the foil press last week. I felt like I had a production line going. I was intimidated when I first got it when it came out, but once you get used to it, it's hard to stop. The tutorial done by Crafter's Companion are mind-blowing. If you don't own one, you need to get one. I paid double when I got mine. Absolutely, do snap it up. Have you got the top plate over there, Jan?
I have.
Anyone that's got that larger machine?
Yes, so again, it's a question we get asked a lot, and the foil press was designed primarily to work with the Gemini Junior because we've got that size, that 6-inch width there, which fits the mouth of the Junior. So any of you guys out there, we didn't want to exclude people that had the big Gemini, the original Gemini. So again, just to give you, let me just unplug this one and show you what I mean about the sensors. So just very quickly, if we get our Charlotte to have a little look inside my Gemini, you can just see the two little white lugs inside it are actually the sensors. So when we pop this plate through the Junior, it's wide enough to trigger those two sensors and make the motor start. Now in the larger Gemini, those sensors are naturally further apart. So when we pop this through, it would just go through between them, miss them, and therefore not engage the motor. So what we did was make an extender plate. So whereas this one fits over my silicon platform nice and snug here, you can see this one's all in line with the platform. We actually made this one to fit around the edge there, and what it's done, it's extended the width here wide enough so that these two elements either side will trigger those sensors in the large Gemini, and everything else remains the same. So everything that I've done today with regards to the foil press stays the same. All you need is that extender plate, which is an additional purchase. It is on the website, it is in stock, and we've got 10% off all the accessories today. You should only ever need to buy it once. These are made out of really tough stuff, but it just allows it to work in that larger Gemini. So yeah, just that one extra that you would need if you're working with the original size Gemini, but well worth the input to allow you to use all the system then by far.
Number 3 is the demo of the show, Jan.
Number three was the shaker element with that lovely Provence fame, wasn't it? Thank you very much, guys.
Brilliant. Right, don't forget to check out your basket. It's still incredibly busy on that foil press and the bag as well. We've got Monday Makers together, Jan. What can we expect from that show in a couple of hours'
We've got all
time?
sorts. We've got those gorgeous triptych dies on there, which I've got a couple of demos with those for you. I've got some interchangeable stamps and sentiments, so we've got those to demo, and we've also got those reveal window dies. So if you were watching earlier this morning on Wake Up Call, we gave you a little sort of taster, but I've got more in-depth demos for you coming up on Monday Makers here at 7. So yeah, I hope you can join us.
Yes, we will see you there, all being well. Don't forget to check out your baskets. Loads of great deals in the show. Remember, you can watch this show back. If you're just coming to us at the end of the show, you can watch it back anytime you like, along with all of our other shows that we've done ever, either on our website or Facebook or YouTube, depending on where you are watching it. You've got 2 hours until we're back here with Monday Makers, myself and Jan. So we're going to go and have a gossip and maybe a bit of dinner, and we'll see you back here in 2 hours' time. Take care.